I never told my son Marcus that I earned $40,000 a month. To him, I was always just Mom, the woman who left for the office at dawn, came home exhausted, cooked whatever was cheap and available, and lived in the same modest two-bedroom apartment we'd had since he was small. He thought I was a secretary, maybe an administrative assistant at best. I never corrected him. Why would I? Money was never meant to be a trophy. I grew up in a time when dignity wasn't measured by bank balances or designer labels. It lived quietly inside you, in the way you carried yourself when no one was watching. So I carried mine in silence. I wore the same worn leather handbag until the straps frayed. I shopped sales racks, cooked at home, invested every extra dollar, and built wealth without fanfare. True power doesn't announce itself. It watches. And I had been watching for years. Marcus was 35 now, married to Simone for 3 years. She was polished, ambitious, always perfectly put together. I liked her well enough, she treated my son kindly. But I sensed something beneath the surface. A subtle distance. A quiet calculation. When Marcus called that Tuesday, his voice carried the same nervous edge it had when he was a boy caught sneaking cookies. Mom, I need to ask you a favor. Simone's parents are visiting from overseas. It's their first time here. They want to meet you. We're having dinner Saturday at Lucille, the fancy place downtown. Please come. I paused. Do they know anything about me? Silence stretched. Then he stammered. I told them you work in an office, live alone, keep things simple. That you don't have much. Simple. The word landed like a slap. My entire life reduced to an apology. Okay, Marcus. I'll be there. I hung up and looked around my living room. Faded couch, small TV, no art on the walls. Nothing to impress. And in that moment I decided. If my son thought I was poor, if his in-laws were coming prepared to judge, I would give them exactly what they expected. I would become the broke, naive mother they already pictured. I wanted to see their real faces. My instincts, honed from decades among corporate predators, rarely failed me. Saturday arrived. I chose my oldest outfit. A shapeless gray dress from a thrift bin years ago, wrinkled on purpose. Worn flats with peeling soles. No jewelry, no watch. I pulled my hair into a messy ponytail, slung a faded canvas tote over my shoulder, and studied myself in the mirror. I looked tired, forgettable, broken by life. Perfect. The taxi dropped me at Lucille, the kind of restaurant where the menu had no prices and the wine list started at 3 figures. Warm lights glowed through tall windows. A doorman in white gloves nodded politely, though his eyes flicked over my appearance with faint surprise. Inside, Marcus stood near a window table, dark suit crisp, shoes gleaming. He looked anxious. Simone, in a cream silk dress with gold accents, stood beside him, tense. Her parents were already seated like royalty. Veronica in shimmering emerald sequins, diamonds flashing at her throat and wrists. Franklin in impeccable gray, a massive watch catching the light. They looked carved from luxury. Marcus saw me first. His eyes widened. He swallowed hard. Mom, you came. Of course, son. I gave a timid smile, the smile of someone out of place. Simone leaned in for a quick, cold cheek kiss. Mother-in-law, nice to see you. Her eyes darted away. She introduced me in a hushed, apologetic tone. Dad, Mom, this is Marcus's mother. Veronica looked up, scanned me head to toe. I saw it all. The judgment, the disdain, the flicker of disappointment. She extended a manicured hand. A pleasure. Franklin's handshake was limp, his smile thin. Charmed. They let me seat myself at the far end, no one pulling out my chair. I sat like an afterthought. The waiter brought heavy menus in French. I opened mine and frowned, pretending confusion. Veronica noticed. Do you need help with the menu, dear? Yes, please. I don't understand these words. She sighed softly, then ordered for me. Something simple, she told the waiter. Nothing too extravagant. We don't want to overdo it. The words hung. Marcus looked away. Simone twisted her napkin. Veronica launched into small talk. Their flight, the $1,000 a night hotel, the rented luxury SUV, the few thousand spent shopping. She watched me, waiting for awe. I just nodded. How nice. Then she pivoted. We've always been careful with money. We worked hard, invested wisely. Now we have properties in 3 countries. Franklin runs major businesses, and I oversee our portfolio. She smiled down at me. And you, what do you do? I work in an office, I said, eyes lowered. Paperwork, filing, simple things. Veronica exchanged a glance with Franklin. Administrative work. That's honest. All jobs are dignified. The food arrived. Tiny portions arranged like art. Veronica cut her $80 steak precisely. Quality is worth paying for. One can't eat just anything. I nodded. Of course. She talked more about Simone's elite schools, for languages, world travel. Then, when Simone married Marcus, we helped quite a bit. Down payment on their house, $40,000. Honeymoon in Europe, $15,000. We believe in supporting our children. She looked at me. And you? Were you able to help them when they married? Not much, I said quietly. A small gift. How sweet. The intention matters more than the amount. Rage stirred inside me, cold, controlled. I kept the timid mask. By dessert, Veronica's $30 gold-flecked confection. She grew serious. I think we should talk as a family. Marcus is our son-in-law and we love him. But he and Simone deserve stability. Financial stability. Emotional stability. Marcus tensed. Mom, not now. Let me finish, Veronica said. We don't want unnecessary burdens weighing on him. Burdens. I repeated softly. Veronica sighed. At your age, living alone on a limited salary. Marcus worries. He feels responsible. We don't want that straining the marriage. I stayed silent. We've thought about helping you, she continued. A modest monthly allowance, $500, maybe $700. Enough to live comfortably without troubling Marcus. In exchange, we ask you respect their space. Not call so often. Give them freedom. A bribe. Pay me to vanish. Marcus exploded. That's enough. Calm down, Veronica said. We're talking like adults. Your mother understands. I wiped my lips, set the napkin down. My voice changed, no longer small. Firm. Clear. Cold. That's a generous offer, Veronica. Truly. She smiled, victorious. But I have questions. How much exactly? $700 perhaps. $700 a month to disappear from my son's life. She frowned. I wouldn't phrase it that way. But that's what it is. I leaned forward. You spent the night talking money, hotel rates, car rentals, shopping sprees, house payments, honeymoons. You measured everything. Everyone. Including me. Franklin interjected. You're misunderstanding. Am I? You offered alms so I'd stop embarrassing your daughter. Silence fell. I continued. You said you admire women who struggle alone. Brave women. Have you ever struggled alone? Built anything without your husband's money? Without family backing? Veronica stammered. I manage our investments. Investments made with money already earned. There's a difference between managing wealth and creating it from nothing. Marcus stared. Mom. I turned to him. No more silence, son. I faced them all. 40 years ago, I was 23. A secretary. Minimum wage. Rented room. Then I got pregnant. The father left. My family disowned me. I chose to keep going. Worked until delivery. Back 2 weeks after Marcus was born. Neighbor watched him. 12-hour days. Night studying, English from library books, accounting, finance. I climbed. Alone. While raising a child. Paying every bill. Veronica's face paled. I didn't stay a secretary. I became a manager, then director, then regional executive. For nearly 20 years, I've signed multi-million-dollar contracts. I make decisions affecting thousands. And yes, I earn $40,000 a month. Sometimes more with bonuses. The table froze. Marcus whispered. What? I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and turned the screen. The balance was 7 figures. Liquid assets alone could buy their properties twice over. I never told you, Marcus, because I wanted you to value people for who they are, not what they have. I lived simply so you'd learn humility. But tonight, I learned something too. I looked at Veronica. You spent $55,000 on your daughter and son-in-law. Generous. But did it by love, respect, or just obligation? Veronica's mouth opened, closed. And you offered me $700 to vanish. Do you know what $700 is to me? A rounding error. A coffee run. Franklin cleared his throat. This is unexpected. Unexpected. I said. You assumed I was nothing. You humiliated me for sport. You thought poverty made me small. But poverty never defined me. Silence did. And dignity. Simone stared at her plate, tears welling. I stood slowly. Marcus, I love you. Always will. But I won't be a secret shame anymore. And I won't accept charity from people who value me by my clothes. I turned to Veronica and Franklin. Keep your allowance. Keep your judgment. And keep your daughter away from anyone who needs to be bribed to love her family. I walked out. No one stopped me. The doorman held the door. Outside, cool air hit my face. I breathed deeply. My phone buzzed. Marcus. Mom. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I never knew. I texted back. Come to my place tomorrow. We'll talk. No more secrets. I hailed a cab, not home but to my real apartment across town. The quiet penthouse I'd kept hidden. Marble floors, city views, art I'd collected over decades. I poured a glass of the $200 wine Veronica had bragged about. I had cases in the cellar. I sat by the window watching lights flicker below. They thought they had humiliated me. Instead, they had freed me. And in that freedom, I felt richer than ever. The next morning, Marcus arrived alone. Simone had stayed home, ashamed, he said. He cried. Apologized. Asked why I hid it. Because I wanted you to be proud of me for being strong, not rich, I told him. But strength isn't always loud. We talked for hours. He met the real me, not the myth he'd built. Weeks later, Simone called. She apologized too. Her parents had returned overseas quietly. No more lavish gifts. No more strings. Marcus started visiting more. No tension. No apologies needed. And me? I stopped hiding. Not everything, just enough. I still wear simple clothes sometimes. I still cook at home. But when I walk into a room now, I carry my truth openly. Because true power doesn't shout. Simply arrives. And everyone notices.